My name is William Bradley. I'm a psychotherapist from Arizona in the United States. This is the second time I've come to do this cleansing retreat with ayahuasca with Javier Zavala, who I have found to be a wonderful man, very devoted, caring, and conscientious. And as a psychotherapist of 40 years in Arizona, I have seen a lot of ways that this kind of experience can really be helpful to take someone beyond their small view of themselves. In other words, in my view, the farther above the forest you can get, the clearer, more open, more creative you become, and you have a lot more choices that are available to you. So the first time I came here at the invitation of Amaru, I didn't really know what I wanted. What I found was an enduring connection to the all-light power, the interdimensional world, and beyond that, which really was an invitation to that kind of power and light, which is completely beyond imagination. I think one of the most wonderful things about ayahuasca, as in other kinds of meditative experiences, is that you can really begin to recognize the light energy nature of your body. And as that begins to happen, then it takes on a quality. Of course, there's no pain. Things become much more fluid, and you can, I think, express an intention when your body is in that state, which will allow it to heal in amazing ways. So the thing that makes ayahuasca fairly unique within the experience of other psychedelics that I've done over the years in similar situations with shamans is that ayahuasca seems to have a very organic, naturalistic quality to it. In other words, dimethyltryptamine is a naturally occurring substance in the body, and it is something which, our body does away with, manages, controls, and this process allows it to flourish, and in a way it opens you up to, yes, things that would seem to be what one could term psychedelic. So I think it's good to have some questions and to have some ideas about what you want to explore, and perhaps what you would like to heal when you come to this process. However, I would also say that be prepared to be surprised and be open to whatever wisdom the plant can offer you. If I take everything as a whole and I think about the experience as a whole, it's a very cleansing, purifying experience on a physical, emotional, and mental level. It leaves me with, it clears out all my normal, rational, day-to-day kind of left brain nonsense that I'm engaged with, where I'm struggling with things, and it really opens up a much more spacious, you could say, above the forest kind of view of what my life is, what life is itself. And so the combination of the the master herbs, with the setting itself, and with Javier's guidance, and of course the ayahuasca and the ritual that's involved with that is just a beautiful way of changing my perspective and giving me a bigger view of my very existence. The experience can be a little overwhelming in the beginning for some people. Obviously, people who have certain kinds of mental illness should be very careful about going on a retreat like this. So no, I don't think it's for everyone, but I think it is something that that one can prepare for, and that you can you can get to in the process of your own personal self-discovery. For the person who really hasn't explored this very much, I doubt that person will be attracted to this. And if you are, you may go through a process of overcoming your own resistance. So for some people, they might take the herbs and nothing will happen. Or for other people, they may spend a lot of time throwing up and kind of rejecting the experience because they may really be frightened of letting go and surrendering to the immensity and the power of the experience itself. So it may take some time, but it's simply a matter, I think, yes, if a person has an intention to do this, that eventually, and especially with Javier's help, I think, because he's a master at helping people, I think, slowly wean themselves into this process. I think he's wonderful at helping people make that transition and overcoming their resistance and their own anxieties about doing this. Would I recommend the Amaru experience? Absolutely. I think, of course, it's worthy of discussion before you do this, and there's some preparation that's necessary before you do it. And actually, I make this distinction because I watch people, go off to suburban house parties to do ayahuasca in the United States, and it's really kind of crazy. They go off, and so it's Saturday night and get high, and then that kind of experience, I think, is absolutely not what Amaru and Hampichicuy is all about. I think it's important to see this as a total experience which begins at least a week or two beforehand, continues before you actually do the ayahuasca. There's preparation on mental and physical level, and I think that's the thing that's most important here. It's a much larger experience than just a few hours that you have, in the Maloka. I mean, the theme for me really in this particular retreat, and both the experiences that I had really had to do with death. And so it really has affected my perspective and has caused me to think a lot more deeply, again, from a broader perspective as to what my actual experience position is as a human being, and the idea that I think that my life should be devoted really to preparing for that moment of death, so that I am clearer and more positive and in some ways have more choices at that moment, I think is an idea that it's an ancient idea. I think the Buddhists have been talking about that for a couple of thousand years. I think that but this was the theme for me in this particular retreat, and I think I learned a lot in the process of doing that. And when am I going to die? I did ask that question of the plant. The plant said, you're going to die when it becomes too painful for you to continue to be a human being. That's what it said.